She doesn't want you to analyze her. She wants you to feel her. And if you're chasing logic, you'll never survive inside the storm of a woman's longing. Because what ignites her desire isn't what you expect. It's not your physique. It's not your income. It's not sweet words. It's the friction, the enigma, the man she can't quite figure out. She won't say this outright. She can't because her arousal isn't expressed. It's awakened. It's sparked by your calm presence, by your emotional mastery, by the pauses in your speech where her imagination starts to wander into the unspoken. These are the unwritten rules hidden in plain sight, missed by most men. But once you catch on, she'll start to fantasize. She'll crave you, and she won't even understand why. Desire begins where certainty ends. The moment she feels she has you completely is the moment her desire starts to decay. Not her affection, not her admiration, but that primal, electric, pulse-racing hunger. It dies in the comfort of predictability, because female desire doesn't flourish in safety, blossoms in suspense, in the unknown. You want to know why the nice guy always loses, because he replies too quickly. He gives too much away. He offers reassurance before she's even started to feel tension. Desire, real desire, is born in the space between what she feels and what she's not sure she's allowed to feel. You don't need to play toxic games. You don't need to act distant, but you do need to remain intriguingly unpredictable. Here's the Stoic truth. The more obvious it is that you want her, the less she has to feel. Because when her nervous system calms down too early, the very tension that fuels lust fades into emotional stillness. It's not that she doesn't care anymore, it's that she doesn't have to chase anymore. And women don't long for what they already own. They hunger for uncertainty wrapped in stability, not chaos, but unresolved heat. When she starts asking herself, why hasn't he replied yet? Is he still thinking about me? Did I say too much? That's when desire is alive. It's not rational. It's biological. She needs to feel like she's leaning in, not because you're pulling away, but because you're moving forward in your life, and she's unsure exactly where she stands. That ambiguity, that's where her fantasies grow roots. And most men destroy that mystery too soon. They talk too much, promise too fast, confess too early. They kill the suspense. They become emotionally transparent. They reveal everything, then wonder why she went silent. Here's the paradox. She will never completely relax around the man she lusts for most, and she'll never fantasize about the man she feels too relaxed with too quickly. So what should you do? You slow it all down. You act with purpose, not impulse. You flirt with your eyes, not your mouth. You respond when it feels right, not when she expects it. And when she asks, what's on your mind? You smirk and say, not ready to share that yet. Now she's filling in the blanks. Now she's leaning in. Now she's dreaming because you left space for her to imagine. That's not manipulation. That's energetic contrast. And the man who offers that contrast, the one who's warm but not needy, present but not on demand, interested but emotionally reserved, that's the man who lights a fire inside her, because he understands the first law of female desire. It doesn't thrive on guarantees. It lives in uncertainty. It starts the moment she's unsure she fully has you. Secondly, she wants to be led into places she's afraid to go alone. She won't ever ask you outright, but the man who makes her feel safest is also the one who makes her feel slightly off balance, not recklessly, but with grounded direction. Her body doesn't respond to hesitancy. Her desire isn't activated by a man who needs a map. It comes alive for the one who becomes the map and boldly guides her into the unexpected. This is a truth no one teaches. Her longing isn't for comfort, it's for guidance into emotional danger she wants to follow, even if she swears she doesn't, even if she says, "I'm independent." Her nervous system still yearns for the man who moves first, who walks in with purpose, who orders with calm confidence, who says, "Come here," not, "Is that okay?" This isn't control, it's direction. A woman's attraction isn't stirred by softness alone. It's awakened by structure that invites her into softness, by a man who allows her to release control just for a moment. Watch how she looks at you. Her eyes say more than her words. Notice how her breath slows when you're close. She is inviting you to step in. See how she falls quiet when you touch her hand. She's waiting for you to do what she can't ask for. Her deepest desires don't live in words. They live in surrender, in being emotionally led by someone strong enough to meet her where she hides. She wants to be kissed before she realizes she gave you the green light. She wants to be held in a way that silences her overthinking. She wants to be told, "I see the way you hesitate." That honesty is beautiful, because inside that hesitation, inside that fear, live her rawest fantasies, and the man who unlocks them is the one brave enough to walk straight into them. Most men hesitate. They wait for signs. They seek permission. They say, "I don't want to overstep." And by doing that, they fade into safety and, eventually, out of her desire. But the man who looks at her like he knows what she craves before even she does, the man who steers her energy instead of mirroring it, that's the man she dreams about, because he didn't force anything. He guided her. He emotionally led her. He took her hand emotionally first, brought her to a version of herself only the right man gets to see. That's the secret. She's not hiding her desire. She's guarding it, waiting for the man strong enough to hold it without being overwhelmed by it. And when you become that man, when you stop asking and start leading with calm, grounded confidence, she softens because her body finally knows it can let go, that for once she doesn't have to be in charge, that someone else is steady at the wheel, and it turns her on in ways she'll never say out loud. Why? Because she's spent her whole life leading, deciding, protecting, staying composed. And now all she wants is a moment to collapse into someone's strength, to be taken not forcibly, but confidently into the unknown. That's not game. That's not manipulation. That's emotional leadership. And it's the second law of female desire. She doesn't want to stay in control. She wants to trust your direction so deeply that surrender becomes the fantasy. Third, she wants to be wanted, but not too openly. Yes, she loves to be desired, but the second she feels worshipped, the fire begins to fade. It's a puzzle most men never crack. She needs to feel attractive, but she only yearns for the man who doesn't make her his entire focus. Why? Because when a man shows too much interest too quickly, too constantly, he drops out of mystery and into emotional submission. And when that happens, the sexual polarity vanishes. Her body isn't programmed for immediate devotion. It's programmed to respond to the possibility of being desired, but not the guarantee. The nice guy says, "You're everything I've ever dreamed of." But the man who captivates her says, "You're intriguing. I'm still figuring you out." That subtle shift, it changes everything. Because she doesn't want to be a reward for neediness. She wants to be chosen by a man with high standards. She wants to feel earned, but only by someone who doesn't need to win her to feel whole. That's what pulls her in. That's what makes her obsess. not what you'll do to please her, but what she'll have to become to earn your attention. Your approval, that's powerful currency. And if you give it too quickly, too easily, without making her work for it, she stops chasing. Desire withers. Why? Because there's no longer anything to strive toward. Female desire doesn't bloom in comfort. It ignites in the pursuit of emotional elevation. She wants to feel seen, yes, but only after she's proven why she's worth seeing. Not because you're distant, not because you're manipulative, but because you have emotional restraint. You want her, of course you do, but you don't need her. And you definitely don't put your longing on display before she's revealed her depths, that restraint that held back, hunger, that quiet self-control, that's seductive. It sends a message. Yes, I want you, but I'm not chasing you. You'll feel it when the time is right. And now she leans in, because you've made your desire feel earned, not automatic, not eager, but intentional. When she realizes your attention isn't free, it must be earned. She starts thinking about you nonstop, not because you poured your heart out on the first date, but because you looked at her like you could destroy her confidence, and still haven't decided if you will. It's not about playing hard to get, it's about being hard to move. Stoic men know this. Don't shower her in attention. Create distance so every glance feels sacred. Don't bury her in affection. Offer presence, but not your full emotional depth. Not yet. And when you finally give it, when you lean in and say, now you've got me, she melts, because she knows how rare that moment is. And now her desire isn't rooted in how she sees herself. It's grounded in how she sees you. That's the third rule of female desire. She wants to be wanted, but she only craves the man whose desire can never be assumed.